Clubhouse. 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 Thank you. Clubhouse. Clubhouse. Thank you. Clubhouse. 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 Clubhouse.
Thank you.
Religious mania was certainly part of what I felt. XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. It's interesting. Sometimes I feel like I have something to say, and then other times it's wanting to write something or go for a walk or something. You know, I really can't control what I'm going to feel like wanting to do. And I don't like that level of, or rather, lack of control. Yeah, I want to see if I can reach some sort of equilibrium where I don't have to worry that things are going to be up and down. Yeah, it's really interesting. Speaking isn't really a spontaneous activity for me because I have to speak, not ramble. And I realize that I don't actually know how to speak. I know how to ramble. And what I mean by ramble is I continually speak thoughts that come into my mind continuously that don't really connect to each other. I think I've been speaking like that all my life, and it's only at certain times where I can make sense. You know, I'm focused, and that was normally when I had to, you know, just sort of focus and be whatever you need to be to, you know, be, you know, a proper father and a husband and just fulfill particular roles. But roles and all that sort of stuff was never interesting to me. I never understood any of that. The role of a worker that goes to work at 9 a.m. and leaves at 5 p.m. Tradies that do the same thing day in and day out. I can't exist in a world that's that structured. I don't think. I think whatever I have is a combination of mental attitudes that mean I am more suited for non-traditional work roles, you know, entrepreneurial stuff, starting businesses, and I think that that's not an uncommon thing in my family and in my community. There are so many entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurial spirit. And what I mean by that is just people that just do business, a bunch of stuff. Builders that are also tradies that, you know, perhaps own restaurants, you know, side hustles. I genuinely think there are a lot more people like me, but they just have a better handle of it. The issue with me and my bipolar disorder and that sort of manic, what would you say? Like, that Tasmanian devil that is my head, that thing, it just doesn't work in normal nine to fives. I have to be the leader. I have to be the one that's in control because my thoughts and my emotions are always heightened, right? So I can't listen to managers or bosses because, to my mind, they just see the world in a much sort of duller kind of fashion than me, you know? Um, I always see, the future. Um, it's part of being bipolar. It's really odd. Uh, it's not really part of being bipolar. It's something that happens when you're in a manic episode. But what I'm finding is that there's gradients of mania. There's a mania that's basically akin to having a strong cup of coffee, right? But then there's a mania that is like snorting a gram of cocaine in one line. No drugs or anything, but you just feel that heightened euphoria. And I think it's the coping mechanism of someone that struggles with bipolar disorder. We enter into that state of mania so comfortably and so easily. And that's where we live. That's our wheelhouse. Um, that where we crave excitement, something extreme, or where we see not the extremes in normal everyday things, but we get overexcited because we see the potential in everything, and we want to. Who the hell am I speaking for? I want to strive for that. That's the mania, that's that giddiness, that's that hyperventilation. My cousin Saeed would tease me whenever we'd have conversations and we'd start speaking about the future and all the beautiful potential opportunities. I'd get overexcited. And to me, it was never a dream or a goal. It was just, okay, let's make that happen. I was driven by that sort of mania. It's like fuel for the ambitious, but it is the worst state of mind that you'd want to be in if you get those goals, you know? So for me, I just wanted to be a good father, but for me, for a combination of environmental reasons, a good father just meant a person making a lot of money. So, you know, that was my goal, just to make money so my family's supported and so I can look good in front of other family members. Not realizing how misguided and sort of destructive that sort of idea was. But I wasn't really, it didn't matter like what job I have, because I can be whatever I need it to be. That's, I don't know, bipolar. I don't know if that's bipolar, but yeah, no, it is. It's the two extremes. It's incredible. I can be whatever I need to be in that moment. Um, Circumstances had me become a waterproofer and tiler after I studied a double degree in philosophy at university. Um, those don't make sense, but I think that I was driven to the that sort of field of work because it was convenient and because I'm manic, right? So, I get overwhelmed, I get stressed, and perhaps university was really hard for me and it was really stressful. It was really confronting because I had a lot going on in my head. I couldn't be structured at university, so I always struggled with that. But job sites and stuff like that, it wasn't that it was easier. I could figure it out a lot easier. It's pretty straightforward. You do a job and you get paid for that job. I could figure it out, and it was so easy. And so many other people were overwhelmed by the idea of starting a business and doing jobs and getting money for those jobs. But to me, it's such a straightforward, benign kind of thing. Um, my old boss was a Tyler. I saw how he got contracts. I saw how he engaged with workers and getting clients and interpersonal relationship and communication and how he spoke. And I learned the importance of that, how to speak to clients. And it really was all about kind of image and making them feel secure. Doesn't matter if you can or can't do the job. Just don't ever let the client know that you can't do a job. Figure it out. Be that sort of duck that sort of glides gracefully on top of the surface of the water with their sort of um, feet, not feet. I think anyway, legs flapping about underneath the water. Um, that's the kind of person that I wanted to be for my clients. No matter how hard it was, no matter how hard the job is, I'm going to be that person that just gets it done. No questions asked, no complaining. And I did that really, really successfully for a couple of years on my own. And then I got, no, more than a couple of years. And then I got into Happy Line, the family trust. And that was an adventure, unto itself. And I feel like I achieved a lot and I learnt a lot. Excuse me. But that was certainly me being in the grips of, mania. And the kind of mania that I was in last year wasn't extreme. It was giddy. It was obsessive. It was staying up a lot. Yeah, and just what I was doing and what I was fueled by and possessed by, this need to impress my family was just so misguided. And that negative feedback loop of me just achieving all these extreme kind of goals that I set up for myself, but not having that validation. So I psych myself up. Yes, we're gonna, acquire this property. Yes, we got the property. Yes, we signed the contracts. That's great. And I always thought that would satiate the sort of mania, that obsessiveness or whatever, but it wouldn't at all. I was chasing something a lot sort of deeper and more substantial. And really what I was chasing was validation from my father and uncles. And that was something that I was never going to get, which is a shame. And I think that's that negative feedback loop. It was irresponsible of me to expect something from them that they were clearly never going to give. But I sort of go back to mania and thinking that you really do, you don't lose your grip on reality, but you get so consumed in yourself and your emotions that you forget other people. It reduces your ability to empathize because you're so consumed. And I think I was doing my own thing in my own little world, being successful, based on my sort of metric for what that is. But the family was just not, in line with that. And I'm obsessive and I'm manic and I'm ADD and I'm passionate and I'm an artist and I've got so many thoughts and all that sort of stuff. And it needs an outlet. I think that's the essential thing of what I've been going through and who I am. I just have a mind that's intense, that goes through these extremes of emotions, and at the same time, I think a lot because of the ADD. So I can't switch that off. I've realized that the best thing to do is to sort of structure your life around the kind of person that you are. Because for me, bipolar disorder, firstly, it's just the word. And I only say that just for the convenience of the people that I'm speaking to. I don't know what, like, for me, in my mind, I just feel emotional, intense. I think a lot, but with the emotion, it's out of control. So I'd wake up happy, and within an hour, I'd be depressed. But it doesn't matter what emotional state I'm in, my mind is still there, and my mind just wants to get out of that emotional state so I could be productive. So I'm forever just sort of trying to clear out the kind of the how do you say, the kind of the overwhelming foliage of the jungle that is my mind, trying to hatch it away at the vines, trying to clear a trail, trying to let the light through. But my mind really does feel like a muddled mess, sometimes, or in the past. And what I've been trying to do for the past few months is try to sort of untangle my mind, both in terms of my thinking, so the cognitive ability, but also to control my emotions, to control the intensity of my emotions. And that's a huge task. Like constantly trying to sort of ride the bull of your emotions and your thoughts. It's a lot, but I love it. It's me. Sorry, but the alternative just sounds boring. This is just who I am. Some people like to wake up in the morning and go for a swim and, treat every day like a potential for an adventure with your friends and family. And some people just like the routine and to go to work and to have that sort of security. I want to achieve a synthesis of the two. I don't want to diminish my good qualities and the good qualities in this crazy brain of mine. I want to augment the good qualities and reduce the bad ones. And the bad ones are just the constant changing and the intensity of the emotions. Really, it's it's reaching an equilibrium where you're able to take control of your emotions. You know, like I think that's what that equilibrium is. It's your thoughts are still there, but rather than being a muddled mess, they are sort of like clear script, let's say. Yeah. And the emotions are still there. I think I'll always be emotional. They just won't be so intense that I won't be able to have control of them. Well, no, rather, they won't be so intense that they'll confuse me. That's the rub with the emotional element of what I'm going through. Realizing how little control, well, how unimportant being rational is. It does not matter. Your cognitive processes, your ability to be smart or intelligent matters diddly as compared to your emotion. Doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how strong you think you are. If you're sad, you gotta be sad. And you can't be stubborn about that. Yeah, it's just intense emotion that sort of just have to kind of come out. I don't even think that that's a symptom of bipolar disorder. I think that's just a symptom of repression. And I've said it before in previous episodes that it's not good to keep things in. And that is so true. I'm learning all these things because I have to, because my mind's that intense, let's say, that, or the feelings are so strong that I have to be aware of all these sort of things, because when those strong feelings take hold, I don't have control. No, actually, I shouldn't say that. Not that I don't have control. Obviously, I always have control, but um, to to all of a sudden feel sad, let's say, slighted, let's say, by the smallest, most benign thing, is a lot. Just a lovely, carefree day, and then all of a sudden, a comment, a thought, a look, and it sends you right back into the dark place, and you feel it in your stomach. Yeah, that sinking feel. All of a sudden, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to wait it out. Okay, I'm depressed now. Like that. Oh, yeah. That is the component that I want to kind of diminish. And I wonder if it'll be completely diminished, right? At the moment, feeling depressed and anxious is intense, you know, because I'm still recovering from a lot of bad stuff that happened. But I think that once I'm recovered, those feelings will all be there still, but they just be a lot smaller and a lot manageable. So rather than this sinking, big, depressed feeling of hopelessness, it'll just be like, oh, that's kind of sad. Move on, right? I envy people that can do that. You guys are weird to me, right? But I think there's a utility in me sort of lingering in that feeling as well. You know, you really begin to think about emotion because you're just stooped in it for a prolonged period of time, and you just have to, I don't know, get philosophical. God, why do I feel so sad all of a sudden? What is sadness? Why do I feel so sad? Why do people feel sad? Sad, sad, sad. I'm just in this state trying to figure out my sadness because I'm just stuck, and it consumes my thought. Perhaps that's the thing. It's that I realize that my rationality and my cognitive processes are really beholden to my emotion, or to my emotions, you know? And I don't think I've ever really engaged with my emotions, you know? I, I, it's so odd to say, but I've had depression and anxiety since I was an adolescent, but I never really engaged with what that meant in terms of my feelings. But depression's sad, right? Anxiety's fear, and I never really thought of the fact that that's really all that is happening. It's just my feelings are being affected quite strongly, and my feelings are so substantial that they're taking control of my actions. Yeah. Think of when you get angry, getting that adrenaline out of your heart, or I think your heart begins to excrete adrenaline or something. Well, it happens to me, and my hands shake. But more than that, my voice begins to shake. It's like I'm about to cry. You ever like just been so consumed with anger? Oh man, and it just, oh god, you get breathless and you get so angry. I experienced that today with someone I spoke on the phone with. He was really upset at me because of more lies that my family members were telling him. And he got so angry, and that's all that the conversation was about. his anger. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to talk to him after that because he wasn't seeing reason. He was just consumed by anger. And I thought, my God, wow, so just everyone doesn't have it right. Everyone's struggling with this. Lack of emotional control. Um, yeah, I think it's worthwhile just to sort of think about. Um, I think for someone like my Uncle Charlie, who's been fueled, who has done a lot of things that don't really make sense for normal people. And so normal people try to rationalize it as, well, it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm sure he has a good reason for doing it. Um, I don't think my uncle has any good reason to do most of the actions that he does. I think for someone like my Uncle Charlie, he's possessed by his emotions and he just rationalizes his actions afterwards. Um, he'd say that Andrew hurt my feelings, so that's the only thing that he can engage with. That his feelings are hurt by Andrew, not why Andrew is upset, not what led Andrew to do something that would upset him. It's just the fact that he's upset and he can't cope with that. And it's quite unfortunate. Yeah, I think that's all for now. All right. Love you. Bye.